You won't catch Forester owners showing off at the gas station, but try asking them to sell it, and you'll hit a wall. This thing's got a grip on people that most SUVs just can't explain. There's a quiet loyalty to this thing, and once you drive it, you can't give it up anymore. Hello everyone, this is Scott from CarlandTV. It's time to hop in the front seat because today, we're diving into why the Subaru Forester might just be America's most underrated cult car. Before I start, I would really appreciate it if you would push those buttons below. The subscribe button, the notification bell, all of them. This is not necessary, but those little clicks help a brother out. Plus, it pushes me to give you more valuable car-related content on your screen. Now, buckle up, and let's get back to the video. The Forester is born for the elements. You can tell a lot about a vehicle by where it shows up. And the Forester? You'll find it in national parks, trailheads, snowy cabins, and grocery store lots in Vermont. This thing lives in places where all-wheel drive isn't a luxury. It's a way to not get stuck. And that's not some marketing trick. The Forester comes standard with Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive. It's not part-time or front-biased like some of the other crossovers. It's full-time, balanced, and mechanically simple. Even base trims clear 8.7 inches of ground, which is more than you get in some actual body-on-frame SUVs. And that's paired with X mode and hill descent control, which helps dial in the traction for mud, snow, or steep terrain. It's not pretending to be a Wrangler or a Bronco, but if you're on a backcountry dirt road with bad weather rolling in, the Forester's one of the few compact SUVs that actually feels like it was made for it. You've got hikers and campers who've owned 3 of them over the years. I know folks who literally pack them like mini overlanders, rooftop tents and all. You can take a Forester into places where a front-wheel drive crossover would start to hesitate, and you're not constantly wondering if something's gonna snap. Let's keep going, because the engineering behind that capability plays a big role in why this thing has such a following. Boxer engine and all-wheel drive. You pop the hood on a Forester, and it looks a little different from most crossovers, and that's because Subaru does things its own way. Instead of a traditional inline-4, you're looking at a flat-4 boxer engine. It's not a gimmick, it's a layout that keeps the center of gravity lower, which is part of why these things feel planted even on bad roads or in the snow. Most automakers dropped the boxer setup decades ago, but Subaru leaned into it, and it's become part of what makes their vehicles handle something more confident than their segment suggests. That engine layout pairs up beautifully with the symmetrical all-wheel drive. A lot of cars just send power to the rear wheels when things slip. Subaru's system stays engaged all the time, and it's balanced from left to right. That's why you'll hear folks say their Forester feels locked in on ice, or why it corners better on gravel than a lot of its rivals. It's also simple. There's no drive mode theatrics, no clunky transitions between front and rear. The whole thing just works. That combination, which is a boxer engine and a full-time all-wheel drive, is rare under 40 grand. And when you're navigating Colorado backroads, heading up to Big Bear, or just trying to make it out of your snow-covered driveway in Wisconsin, that mechanical confidence matters. And when a machine's built with a purpose like that, it's no surprise people get attached. This time, let me get into how that attachment turns into loyalty. Real loyalty. Reliability that people don't brag about. You hang around long enough in Forester owner circles, and you start noticing a pattern. The odometers keep climbing, but the stories stay the same. Not flashy, not complicated, just running. I've seen 2005 Foresters in the parking lot of hiking trailheads with over 250,000 miles and still hauling coolers and dogs like it's nothing. These aren't collector cars or babied weekend rides. They're daily grinders that rack up miles in snow, mud, or heat. Most of the earlier Foresters came with timing belts that needed attention, but Subaru moved to timing chains in later generations. That cut down one of the few higher-cost maintenance intervals. Oil consumption was an issue on some second-gen models with the EJ25 engine, and there was a head gasket conversation for years, but those issues didn't scare off loyal owners. They just planned for it, fixed it, and kept going. These folks aren't looking to jump ship because something needs wrenching. They knew what they signed up for. Consumer Reports and J.D. Power have ranked newer Foresters solidly in reliability, especially since the 2019 redesign. And in real-world forums, you'll find more stories about 10-year-old Subarus doing Costco runs and long hauls across states than just about any other SUV in the same price bracket. People hang on to these because they trust them. The platform's predictable, the drivetrain's proven, and you're not worried every time you turn the key. That kind of confidence bleeds into the community, and that's where the Forester really turns a corner. The Subaru culture. There's something about the Forester that builds a different kind of following. Not loud, not showy, but steady. You start seeing it when you look around at trailheads or long-distance parking lots. 2 or 3 older Foresters, each with a different rack setup, a dog in the back, and maybe a set of all-terrains bolted on. And every owner nods to the next. There's a quiet connection there, like they all know this isn't just about specs. The Subaru crowd isn't like other car groups. It's more of a tribe, and the Forester is right in the center of it. Go online and check out SubaruForester.org or the Subaru pages on Reddit. Tons of posts from people showing off their rig after a dirt road camping trip, or asking what size lift kit fits a 2010 without rubbing. People aren't flexing horsepower. They're talking about reliability, fuel economy, and what fits in the cargo area. Events like SubiFest bring out thousands of enthusiasts every year. And while a lot of attention goes to the WRX guys, you'll always see rows of well-worn Foresters with weathered paint, lifted suspensions, and recovery gear. And there's this loyalty to the brand that builds over time. 1 Forester becomes 2. A teenager drives the hand-me-down. Then they buy their own. That kind of ownership story just doesn't come from marketing. It comes from experience. But this isn't the only thing that makes the Forester unique. Let me get into that. Resale value. Now here's where it starts to get really obvious why folks don't let go of their Foresters, even when the new models come out. The resale value of these things is no joke. Pull up a used car listing in just about any US region, and you'll see 1 0-year-old Foresters still pulling in numbers that'll make a Toyota owner blink. I've seen 2012 second with over 150,000 miles, still going for north of $8,000 depending on condition and service history. Subaru has consistently ranked by ALG and Kelley Blue Book among the top brands for resale value, and the Forester is usually leading that charge. That's not just hype on a chart, either. Its demand is driven by real-world reliability and a steady buyer base. People actively look for used Foresters. College kids, first-time buyers, outdoorsy couples, snow state commuters. They all want a solid all-wheel drive vehicle that won't break the bank. And when one pops up for sale, it doesn't last long. Dealerships know this too. Used Foresters are hard to keep on the lot. Some even fetch certified pre-owned prices that creep close to new models. And it's not uncommon to see a 3- or 4-year-old Forester only losing 20 to 25% of its original value, which is wild when you compare it to something like a Chevy Equinox or even a Ford Escape. So when you hear someone say they're not selling theirs, it's not just about attachment, it's about dollars and cents. But what seals the deal? Well, I think it's obvious by now. The Forester is a workhorse. You know what people forget about the Forester? It just works. Plain and simple. No nonsense. It's the car that handles the school run, the hardware store haul, and the last-minute 200-mile road trip without a single complaint. I've talked to folks who've used the same Forester for commuting Monday through Friday, then packed it up with gear for camping by Friday night. That kind of flexibility is rare, especially in today's SUV market, where everything's either trying to be a luxury lounge or some kind of faux off-roader. The visibility is one of the best features nobody talks about. Tall windows, upright seating, and that boxy profile mean you can actually see what's around you, whether you're backing into a tight city space or checking your blind spots on a winding road. That sounds basic, but once you've driven crossovers with sloping rooflines and giant rear pillars, the Forester feels like a breath of fresh air. The cargo space is just as practical. Fold down the seats and you've got nearly 75 cubic feet to work with. That's enough for a mountain bike, a stack of moving boxes, or half your garage if you're cleaning out on a weekend. This isn't a car that tries to impress strangers. It impresses the people who actually use it, and that connection is part of why owners stay loyal. However, there's one point that actually drives a lot of sales for the Forester, and this is also the very reason why even selling one doesn't make sense financially. It never tried to be cool. Every time a new SUV drops, it's loaded with promises, sleeker lines, digital dashboards, sport this and urban that. The Forester never played that game. It stuck to the formula: honest design, solid mechanicals, and real usability. That's why it's lasted. It didn't chase trends. It just showed up, year after year, and did the job. I've driven a lot of crossovers, and most of them feel like appliances. Polished, maybe even quick, but cold. The Forester feels different. It's built with a purpose that hasn't changed in 25 years. That's why you'll see older models still running daily duty. It's not because they're collectible, it's because people trust them to do what they're made to do. Ask anyone who's owned one and they'll tell you it was the car they kept the longest. Not because it was fast, not because it turned heads, but because it never gave them a reason to get rid of it. And when they did sell, they usually bought another. That kind of loyalty doesn't happen by accident. It's earned, mile by mile, oil change by oil change. Subaru didn't build the Forester to win beauty contests. They built it to work. And that's exactly what makes it legendary. So yeah, the Forester isn't flashy, not remotely close. But if you know, you know. And once you've had one in your garage, it's hard to drive anything else without feeling like you gave something up.